Hello, and welcome to the Hustle and Honey podcast, where we explore the sweetness, struggle, and successes of running your own business. We're your co-hosts, Jen, Meesh, and Amber. Today, it's just me, Jen, and I'm talking to Linda of the Seed of Life Reiki. Linda is a Reiki Master and retreat facilitator, hosting women-only retreats in the wild to receive their Reiki attunement in nature. She's your ultimate hype woman, and I'm so honored to know her and consider her a friend. I received my Reiki certification from Linda, and I use it when I'm mixing my henna in times of fear and struggle, and to help support my family and loved ones with their own healing. Speaking of henna, I have a few events coming up this month, so if you're in the Phoenix area and want to do some henna, please follow along at La Luna Henna on Instagram. We've got Poetry in the Garden night coming up, and a meditation and a henna event at Abundant Space on March 30th. It's going to be amazing. So definitely follow along with those. But until then, yes, let's listen to this conversation with Linda, because there is so many great little nuggets of information, and I just cannot wait for you all to hear it. So without further ado, here is Linda and I's conversation.
Yay! Okay. How's it going?
Good. Hijacked my son's room, all his things.
I love that for us. Yay! Yeah, you have quite the setup.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's got 2 screens. This is his thing. It's a lot.
I love it. I love that for you. Like, I love that you take advantage of that.
I know, me too.
Okay. Well, let's just get right into it, if you're up for that.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So I would love for you to introduce yourself. Just tell us a little bit about you, what you're doing, who you are, just like a lovely little intro from you to us.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Linda Giangregorio. I am the owner of Seed of Life Reiki. I've been in this business for about 5 years. Married to my best friend for like 26 years. We have 3 kids together. I have a side job, which is great. And then I have my podcast, and gosh, I think that's it.
You sound like me. I'm like, and this, and then also sometimes I do that. Yeah, listen,
I know.
Multiple streams of income is real, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about your other job too. Not necessarily like into it, but like a little bit about it, because I feel like that is something that creatives, entrepreneurs, people feel like they have to have their business and their business only. And like there's so much opportunity with having a second, third little other something going on. So I definitely want to talk about that.
Yeah.
But first, I would love for you to tell us what your definition of success is.
Oh gosh. I mean, I don't really. I will say that it's changed over the last 4 or 5 years, right? For me, I think, at least for like my Reiki retreat business, that kind of a thing, touching lives, I think that success for me is when a woman can come to me and say, your way of being, your teaching has helped my life. I don't really look at, number of whatever retreats that I'm doing, how much money I'm making, that kind of a thing. I look at it more like, who am I serving? How is it helping? That kind of a thing. So in those terms, my success has been fucking amazing. Like, it's been huge, so.
I love that, because I feel like I saw like a meme or something similar to that, where it was like, what if our definition of success was not like how much money we made, but how many people we made feel safe in our presence? Yeah. And that's a total different perspective. And it's a different shift of like, oh, you're making this much money. Great. Yeah. But like, if people don't fucking feel safe with you, what is the point? What's the point?
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, and I've had to redefine it too, because several years ago, I was super busy, and you're starting a business and all the connotations that come along with that, like it was my only stream of income at the time. So it's like, I have to do this, and this to make this so that we can survive, But now I'm like, I can take a step back and breathe. And it does have to do with that side hustle, because it's like, I now know that I can just approach the business from a more pure, holistic way than like all of this shit is tied into it. You know what I mean? And if I don't do this many retreats a year, well, then I'm not successful. And that is just such a crock of shit, you know?
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess we can go into that now. I mean, there's a few other questions that I like to kind of build into the usual questions, but
Mhm.
yeah, for me also, I feel like I worked a long time in an industry that I loved, and I felt
Mhm.
like I loved it so much and it was doing so much good that it was okay that I wasn't making very much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I had my passion projects, the things that I was good at and the things that I was loving on the side.
Mhm.
And once I switched those and kind of
Mhm.
put the thing that I love as my priority, but kept those little other, I mean, I don't even want to say like real jobs, but like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
W-2s, we'll call them our W-2s
Yeah.
because there's also a ton of like beneficial stuff happening there
Mhm.
for businesses. Yeah. And so we can kind of go into that, but what has it provided for you and your family to have your baby business, which isn't even a baby. I mean, it's 5 years old, but like your
Yeah.
business, but then also allowing you to work outside of the home and just kind of like do that also.
Yeah. I'd say it's the biggest amount of freedom I've ever experienced. I think, like a lot of people, we all grow up with money blocks and money beliefs and all of this shit. And as much work as you can do on that, it's still a block, you know?
Yeah.
So my ego so got in the way. I was like, I'm not getting a job. This is going to work. I'm going to grind. I'm going to fucking hustle. You know, I'm going to hours and hours and learning all the things, you know, like I bootstrapped this whole freaking thing. But so then it was, okay, well, this not the business, but like the job, the W-2, so to speak, right, allows me the freedom, especially this specific one. And like, once I let go and said, okay, this is what I need for my life, right? Like I need something to be fluid. I need them to meet me where I'm at. I need flexibility to still be able to do all my retreats whenever I want to do my retreats or need to do my retreats, whichever. Soon as I said that, this job just fell in my lap. And of course it came from a longtime friend who's also a student, who her friend was the boss, you know, so like it was this nice little trail of, here we go, here's an opportunity, you know. And so I was doing that part-time, and then it was literally, all you have to do is just tell us the days that you need, no questions asked. I was like, that's amazing, you know. Exactly, like, oh my god, you know, that's actually a thing, you know. So that was amazing last year, because I've almost a year at this point at this job. And so now this year, now that I'm full time and I have 2 positions there, they're still allowing me to make my own schedule, which God sent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't get better than that, honestly.
Well, no, and that's why I'm like, I'm staying. Like, it's a crazy industry, whatever. It's super high stress. There's a lot of like balls in the air kind of a thing. But I have been told, and I think this as well, that like I'm at this job because my angel wings just come out when I'm there. Like, if I can be the one person that these kids can come to and feel comfort, I'm done. That's it for me. Do you know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
makes it so worth it. And then I love my team, you know, which is huge. So yeah, it's just given me so much ability to relax into. So like, even like this coming year, like my retreat season starts in March, and I thought the normal, right? I'm going to plan 2 a month. I'm just going to go. And now I'm like, I don't really feel like I need to do that, nor do I want to do that, because there's just so much stuff in the background that I need to work on, that I feel like this is just going to be like a rebuild year for the business. Do you know what I mean? So that I can feel comfortable in marketing and in ads and social media and all of the things, and like find my flow with that versus just trying to bang my head against the wall, you know? So,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
There's so many things that I want to like touch back on that you're saying to me, and I'm like absorbing. So the first one, The first one is, it's kind of like the manifesting. Like you literally, did you make a physical list? Like I'm curious when you say like, okay, once I thought these requirements are what I need for a job and it showed up, did you physically write those down at all? Or did you say them out loud? Or what did you do?
No, actually, the way that I do things is freak out, overreact, all of the things, and then rein myself back in. So lots of like Reiki sessions with myself. I don't really do the little journaling thing too much. Occasionally I will. But no, it's really more just giving myself compassion in that moment of what I'm feeling and letting myself know that it's okay to relax. And then the universe just shows and gives me what I need, you know? So
Yeah. So that's interesting because I feel like one of the biggest takeaways I had from your retreat was to say your like prayers out loud, like not necessarily even
yeah,
a prayer if you're triggered by that word, but
right.
like you have your spirit realm around us at all times and your guides cannot help you if they don't know what you need. So saying that stuff out loud is so helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I definitely built that into my practice now of like when there's something in my business that's like exhausting me or frustrating me or just any of my needs, I will say them out loud. And I
Yeah.
trust completely that they will be taken care of because I have a
Yeah.
whole team of like,
Absolutely.
even if it is just vibrations of our words,
Yeah.
whatever, it
Yeah.
attracts what I need.
Oh,
So I'm
1,000%.
all about that.
Yeah, me too. I just don't like intentionally say them out loud for that, but I know that they hear me. Do you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So like I know if I am asking and connecting with them because again, they can't help us unless we ask, right? Like we don't know. I know they're helping me.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of um God, what's her name? Louise Hay with Hay
Oh, yeah.
House, where it's everything is working out for my highest and best good. And from this situation, only good will come and I am free. And that's on repeat, like all day long, you know? So
Yeah.
that's basically my go-to.
I love that.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to talk about with your business that I think is really important for people, I mean, not even just starting out, but knowing when to scale. There's like, I feel like a time in your business when it goes either way. When you are
Yeah.
in a slow season and you're feeling so stressed, I know this is for me personally. A few years ago, I was like so stressed about
Hmm.
making just enough to survive that I couldn't like focus on my art, if that makes sense. Because
Oh
there
yeah.
was, when you're in survival mode, you like, sometimes it can propel creativity, but I don't think you can really take that lesson in those stories until you're in a safe, healthy place later. Like when you are
Yeah.
actually in it, you
Mm,
can't.
yeah.
And I think that having the second job is such an important part of scaling because it allows you to propel yourself forward and then you have a safety net and propel yourself forward and you have a safety net. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you want to expand on that either, but um
So the scaling thing is super interesting to me because the narrative is that we have to scale the business, you know, like
it's
we
always
got to
up.
keep growing.
Yes.
Right, exactly. And for me, that's kind of tricky, honestly, because you know that I run women only retreats and
Mhm.
I don't ever want it to be more than 6 women at a time. So it's like my scaling is going to come from just doing more retreats, but not necessarily bigger groups, you know? And
Mhm.
everybody in the industry is like, make $50,000 per retreat, but you're going to have 20 plus people. And I'm just like, that's not what I'm about in the slightest bit. So I'm not really concerned with scaling, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that that's kind of why I'm attracted to it in your scenario because I think that that is something that's overlooked so often is we only think about scaling up and we never recognize that sometimes the easiest thing we can do for ourselves and the more successful thing we can do for ourselves is scale back and
Yeah.
knowing when to do which one. Because
Oh, yeah.
sometimes you need to scale back so that you're able to be more present with your family, you
Yeah.
know, or if your health, you know, if you need to take care of your health, you might need to scale it back a little bit. And taking
Yeah.
those other jobs that aren't so physically, emotionally demanding or
Right.
differently demanding,
Yeah.
it can allow you that space.
Well, yeah, and then think about it, the bigger your business gets, right? The more responsibility, the more and people you could be hiring to help you. Like there's all these things where I feel like it actually gets harder to step back. Do you know what I mean? Because like you look at like the big people, they've got teams around them, you know? I'm just like, no, I'm good. Like
Yes.
I'm gonna stay in my little bubble, you know?
Yeah. And I joke about that too, because I say I have a control kink. I used to be like, I'm such a control freak about things, but no, it's a control kink. I enjoy how it feels to be in control of things. I don't want other people in certain roles of my business. I love an assistant. I love a support team, but there's not a need for that all the time. And so I get what you're saying for sure about that as well. Like I don't want someone else doing my emails. I don't want someone else doing my editing. Like I want to be in charge of those things. And that's what I like about my business.
Yeah, absolutely. I know. Yeah. And I feel like running it this way, like I said, gives us the space. Do you know what I mean? To back off or ramp up when we want. And then I feel like we're also honoring how we feel in our bodies, right? And then how that translates into our life and our business and all those things. And when we can pay attention to that, well, then our business mirrors that, you know? I also heard one time, it was super interesting. They were like, your business is not you. Your business is its own separate entity. And I'm just like, oh God, that's such a hard concept because I get so emotionally wrapped up in all of it, but it's true. Technically, it's its own energetic being, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've seen people pull their birth charts for their business the moment they got their LLC certified, you know, or like approved. And that is real and it is relevant, but I do feel like I spend a lot of time invested in my business as myself and as a parent of the business. Like I do feel like there is kind of it's a little bit more intricate than that. No, but I also think that another nice aspect of that is that when you have these other W-2 jobs, two things. One, it can provide you startup money for bigger investments for your business. So if you know, like you're going to take this W-2 job and you're going to do this for 6 months or a year, not necessarily a year situation, but if that was the case, you know, I'm going to do this for this long and I'm going to set 10 or 20% aside, and that's going to bankroll the things I need, the education I need for my business, like learning social media marketing and all of that. Like it can be so helpful. And then the second thing is taxes. Like pull your taxes out of your W-2s. Like it's just a lifesaver when you have that little bit that's already been done for you and you don't have to worry about that when you do your own math on your own business. Like I'm about it.
Dude, I know. I love it.
As we approach that season and I'm having like the struggle of sitting down and actually adding everything up and putting it all in and finishing all that. It's a lot.
Yeah, it can be. I feel like I've gotten super lucky though. I love QuickBooks Self-Employed and I've only got one business. You have a ton.
Yeah.
But like it does it all for me. And I have been so lucky. Like I was right on track. Like I'm going to pay my quarterlies. I'm going to do all of these things. So I've never actually owed a ton of money for this business. Even when I was at the peak, it was great. So I don't know. I'm doing something right.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. And I think I do like the TurboTax, like the upgraded version. And it also does the same thing where it prompts me and asks me all the things. And every year I'm like, I'm going to hire someone. And then I sit down to do all of the math of it. And I'm like, I do like math. And I do like, again, having that control kink of seeing my numbers and seeing where everything is. But because the system like allows me to like update and do everything, I know that it's like leading me through it in a nice way. So I'm not like totally overwhelmed with paperwork.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Yeah. And I also have never had a bad experience where I'm like, oh my gosh, I owe so much. I've been saving this year. I think this is going to be my most expansive year, but I think that I've been trying to set that aside and prepare for that. And again, I also have a little W-2 money that's like, okay, that should keep me my cushion.
Yeah. And that's been amazing too, the W-2 thing, because that's paid for my advertising really. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's like number one for me.
And that's not even touching on another aspect of it, which is networking. So like you were saying, like you already have this woman that like helped connect you, right, to get that job. But then you're not even thinking about, at least for me, my experiences where I've met people through my W-2 jobs that have been lifelong clients, you know?
Oh, 1,000%. There's so many.
Yes. Don't let the ego stop you from showing up and experiencing
Yeah, exactly. Or that narrative in our head that says that my business is a failure if I have to get a job. It's so not true. Like
not
literally
true at all.
Oh yeah, no, at all. Like use it, like you're saying, as a tool to grow in whatever direction you need that to be, you know? So
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Love that.
Okay. So speaking about this, I want to kind of move into some of my other questions, which are, what would you say is going really well in your business right now?
Mhm.
And then following up with that is something that is maybe like a little bit of a challenge, but how you're navigating it. So they're kind of like back-to-back questions, something that you think is going phenomenally well, and then something that you
Mhm.
think, needs adjustment, navigating it.
Yeah. So it's super weird, right? Because I feel like I'm kind of on the outskirts of the business right now because I'm not doing retreats, right?
Right.
So
It's not the season.
yeah, exactly. So like the business, I would say that what's going well is connection with my girls, connection
Mhm.
with, other people or whatever. What's not going well is always for me advertising. And you and I have talked about this for so long. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I want to bang my head against the wall and it doesn't well, it feels like it doesn't matter what I do. I can't grasp what's missing. And that's kind of why I'm taking a step back. So honestly, the step back is also what's going well, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think that is really something that maybe I need to find someone who's like a branding expert and have them come on here and like tell us some hacks, because I've been
yeah.
doing the SEO thing. So I went back and I've optimized my website. And for anyone who doesn't know what that really looks like, you can go back and alt tag all of your images, put in your
Yep.
beautiful keywords. Google likes everything as a sentence for those.
Yeah.
And I'm like a chronic like typo girly. So I really have
Mhm.
to be very careful because Google does not like typos. And so I have to be very mindful about how I'm like articulating and placing everything and putting punctuation. And I've done that.
Yeah.
And
Same.
and I think that that's probably, I think if you searched, I mean, it's a hard, because I'm in a saturated market in terms of photography. So I put a lot of
Right.
my keywords in there. So if you're looking for a creative photographer, like hopefully I come up, but
Mhm.
ultimately that is a really hard industry to like get the SEO on.
Did you
Um,
do your local Google?
Yeah, so well, I have my Google listing. Is there something
Right.
else? Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like, it's Google My Business,
Yeah.
and you set all of that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been great. Like I love that.
Yeah,
So
and I like that you can see everything on the back end of that. And
yeah.
having client reviews, oh my gosh, like I just want to, if anyone feels like just loving on a business that they know or have used recently, just go give them a Google review,
Yeah.
because that is one of the best tools.
Yeah, it's
Um,
huge.
and I've been using Pinterest a lot. That's like a big
Oh, really?
photography. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
photography thing. I don't know if it translates quite as well for all industries.
Mhm.
I would
Mhm.
assume pretty well, but basically that one is a more of a long-term game, and that also has to do with your SEO and your alt tags and all of your stuff like that. But
Yeah.
those are the two that I've really been trying to dial in with this year, and I do think
Mhm.
it feels like I'm doing something. So
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
helping. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
do think
on
that we used to be able to just go on to Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You paid for a boosted post. People
yeah.
actually in your area, in your demographic, they saw it, they responded well
Yep.
to it. And then I think that these bigger companies, Meta specifically, I think just got really selfish.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now I'm getting ads nonstop, but I don't even want to scroll. And it's ads for things that I don't even want to buy.
Uh-huh.
And
It's
I can't
so
follow
annoying.
and I can't follow the people that I want to just actually see and support.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I've been on that SEO train too. Like I think for Reiki retreats, I think is what it is. I'm on page 2. So like I'm doing something correct. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely. Like oh yeah,
yes,
I made sure cuz I do my website through Wix and so they're great about like really helping you set up your back end and then I did all the research myself. So that's been amazing. And what's so funny too is because most of my stuff is in California, if I'm specific on like the back end title pages, right? I come up in California.
oh, so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
fantastic.
It's amazing. Yeah, I've totally figured all of that out. Yeah. And then in Google, my search, not like my search, but like my area of service
Yeah.
is all the way over there too, so that
Oh,
it hits everywhere.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's been so nice. But yeah, the marketing for Meta is just ridiculous. And at
It's
this point now,
yeah.
they don't want you to pick demographics other than age, location, and gender. And they're like, our algorithm is gotten so good, just do that. So like, don't boosted posts, go into Facebook ads manager and do it all from there. And I like that too, because you get to customize so much more if you do that. Like there's a lot to set up with that, right? To like, oh my gosh, what's it called? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's the thing that links Facebook to your website. I can't remember what it is, but it's like a tracking thing.
I was struggling with that. There was an issue. I wasn't able to do that for some reason. There was something weird, and I was like, oh, like so basically right now, if you go to my Instagram, you're like, oh, I love this photographer. I want to like book with her right now. And you click like book services, that I had listed out a few services, which I wanted to go back and update their pricing.
Right.
If you try to click on those, I, as the business owner, cannot access them, and I cannot change them because of the way that all my stuff is set up. So that really, weird. That was like weird. It was a whole situation. But I do know what you're talking about, because for whatever reason, it wasn't allowing me access. So that's the other side of it, is like, you have these huge companies that are charging you so much money to advertise them with. And then they have all these little facets that change so frequently that you start to get comfortable, and they change it, and it no longer becomes a helpful tool. It becomes a huge pain in the ass.
Oh, I know. I was literally just thinking that. That's exactly it, because that's all I've ever used is ads to get every single person I've ever gotten has been on Instagram. And it used to work amazing, like hands down, right? But because of Trump and all of the bullshit of, you know, people are getting too political, or this topic is too sensitive and whatever, right? Which I get all of that.
Yeah, they censor down. They're just like, we don't want to have any difference of opinion.
Right, exactly. But the weird thing though is, so it's in the background, right? When you go into your ads manager and you're picking out demographics and stuff, it's so broad termed at this point that it's not even worth it for me to use it. That's why I would literally just keep it super simple, like they said. And all of the experts are saying the same thing, and let Facebook pull. So it does actually use your current followers as a warm base. And then it judges everybody off of that for the new people that are coming in. So it's been decent. Now I'm just kind of trying to figure out like a new landing page and like all of that shit. Like what's supposed to be on there? What's it supposed to say? What's it supposed to look like? How can I connect? And like making sure that like my voice and my heart are there. And it's because right now it just feels like I'm in this like bubble of I have to figure this out. And it's like all I've been doing for months now. And it's driving me crazy. It's like,
and have you seen a recent suggestion that I have absorbed and am in the middle of integrating is auto playing videos on your main landing page. So for instance, you know, because of the bounce rate, so Google likes when people stay on your page for longer.
Right.
So doing a video will help ensure that. I'm sure Wix is very similar to Squarespace, if not even better at this specific thing, but they allow you to autoplay. So when someone shows up to your website, it'll autoplay whatever video you have. And for you, I feel like that would be so beautiful to actually see that Reiki process, or see like, you know, however you wanted to edit that video together. But even having a 30-second clip that's automatically playing, that's going to get your voice across so well. Yeah. And you can even have audio to it. That's literally your voice. Yeah. I would think about that, because that's something that I'm in the process of trying to get a little behind the scenes of myself. It never works out. I know. Oh my. I
have a couple. I don't have enough, I feel like, because I was looking through them last night, literally, and I was like, where are all my videos? I'm like, what's happening right now?
I mean, I have videos for you, so I feel like we're going to find some.
I need to find your videos then, because I literally have no idea where they're at. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I got a new laptop, so maybe that's it. But I'm like, everything's supposed to be in the cloud. I don't freaking know. But they said that landing pages with videos convert 80% better than if you didn't have any video. And I'm like, yes, let's go. So yesterday, that's all I was doing, was trying to figure out a video to stick up there that, you know.
Okay, so we're on the same page. We're on it.
We always are, honestly. I feel like every time we talk, we're like, yes, same.
Same. Okay, well, that's fantastic. Okay, let's see. I feel like I have not touched on some of my other classics. So we've got, oh, it's already almost one. I'm gonna go through the few of these kind of quickly, but what is your why? Like why Reiki? Why women only retreats?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Sorry.
So yeah, right. This is going to get long. No. My why is because women need a space that we can come to be authentically ourselves, that you can walk into and the facilitator loves you instantly. Reiki, because it removes all of the incessant mind chatter and really, in my opinion, brings you and your source the fastest. Like it just cuts away all the bullshit and allows you to feel what I feel like the majority of us don't feel on a daily basis. Do you know what I mean? Like we're so wrapped up in life and stress and all the things. So that's really my why. Also, I would say a bigger why for me is I want to change the narrative in the healing world in terms of I'm not creating healers, right? I'm creating personal empowered women who know how to heal themselves and who know how to hold space for other people so that those people can heal themselves.
Yeah.
I get so on my like TED Talk soapbox with this because I cannot stand the narrative of I learned this modality and now I'm going to heal you. Well, no, you're not. Like, no, you're absolutely not. You don't have that power, So that's also one of my bigger whys. I feel like I'm creating an army of new Reiki practitioners who are going to approach it with unconditional love and showing people what is true for them, right? Instead of feeding people their answers, let them get to their own answers,
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
shortened version.
Yeah, and I think that's so relevant because I'm over the concept of that you need to be healed, like someone else needs to help you heal. Like our bodies heal themselves in the
All the
pharmaceutical
time.
industry, medical industry, it's the same thing. Our bodies are the ones that are healing. We're just giving it like the tools that you maybe need or want to do
Right.
that.
Absolutely.
Cool.
1,000%. Yeah.
What would you say? Okay, this one might be a little tricky and I'll give you some time to think about it. But what are 3 pieces of advice or 3 things that you would tell any customer or client? Like just your top 3, I don't know, mantras, top 3 advice, like just top 3 things that you tell your client.
Okay. So I always tell my girls that it is okay to feel exactly what you're feeling in any moment that you're in. That's number 1. Number 2 is to give yourself compassion first. And then number 3 would be stop trying so hard. You literally have it all within you. And if you relax into that knowing, it all just beautifully comes to life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love all of
So those
those.
are my 3.
Top
I
3.
didn't even have to think about it.
I
Go
know you
me.
have them like ready. That's a new question for
Love
me.
it.
And I like can't wait to use it more because I do think that so often we forget our own expertise. And that's
Yeah.
a good question for me because it's like, yeah, what are the 3 things that I like share with people the
Totally.
most often?
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, I
Yeah.
loved all of those. Okay.
Hey.
So a few more things to just kind of wrap up. Meesh wasn't able to join us today, but I know that she loves to ask everyone what their first job was. So
Oh, yeah.
what was your very, very first job?
Oh gosh. Okay, are we talking like actual work for somebody else? Because like my first job was working with my mom because she was a cleaning lady. So I was cleaning houses at like 11.
No, I think that's the one we want to hear about. Yeah. Tell us
Okay.
a little bit about that.
Oh God, that was fun. Honestly, I needed or not needed, but like, you're 11 and you want a new mountain bike. So it was like, okay, well, if you want this, you're going to have to go work for it. So come to work with me every day, So that was, I don't know. That was interesting. I definitely taught me I do not want to be that like that. I was solidly like, that is not my life path.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not doing that, but thank you so much for the experience.
Right? Like, thank you for the money, got my bike, like all the things.
And sometimes you got to work hard to like earn hard. That's fine.
Dude, I mean, it's true. And it is, and I think it's a great lesson for kids, right? Like, I'm not just going to hand you something. Like, you should know the value of working for it, But I definitely think, that whole message, right? Of, you got to hustle to get what you want and all these things. And it's like, well, no, you don't. You just have to meet your life halfway, and then the rest comes. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You don't need to always work harder. Definitely need to work smarter, but.
Yes, 1000%. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 more questions I have for you. What is one thing you would tell yourself if you could give yourself one piece of advice to get you to where you are now faster? What would that be?
To let go.
You are quick today. You are quick.
Dude,
Yes.
sometimes I'm so on and it's amazing. And literally all morning I was like, oh my God, okay, how is this going to go? I always get like the nerves before you're going to do something.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with retreats. And then everybody's like, oh, okay. So like same thing with retreats where it's like, oh gosh, I hope that I can connect and convey this properly. And then I do, and it's fucking amazing. Or like I'm on the phone with one of my girls and I'll say something and they're like, oh my God, say that again. I'm like, no, I cannot. It's gone. Like, this is it.
That's why we're recording it. Because listen, that shit happens to me all the time. And if I don't write it down,
oh my God,
yeah, it's gone.
Yes, I know. It's so annoying.
It's so annoying because I was like, no, that was brilliant.
Brilliant. Yes. Oh my God,
that happens.
I know.
Okay, let's see if we can stump you on this one. Who is someone in your industry and or someone that you are learning from right now, that you take advice from, that you gain knowledge from? Anybody that you're still learning from, because that's a big thing to me, is education and continuing that. Yeah. So you got
yes and no. So like they're not in the Reiki industry, right? They're just in the whatever, life coaching, whatever. And I will say too, though, my girls, because I have some students who are fucking amazing women who just are killing it in the coaching side of things, right? Or this is how I'm going to attack life things, So like them, I'm definitely learning from. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think I have like one person that I can be like, this is who, because I feel like I listen to everybody, like I watch what you do and how you approach things, or I watch how my other Jennifer does things, So like, I feel like it's everybody. I'm just kind of try to be open to whatever I need to hear,
Totally. Yeah. I do feel like that is something when you have a really strong community of strong, empowered women around you. It's like, I'm not going to choose one person. I will say though, that I will kind of do that on occasion, like deep dive into somebody if it's someone new that I haven't heard of or I'm new to their work. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm going to read every single book they ever wrote and I'm going to watch all of their free, lessons and whatnot before I commit to like purchasing from them. But like at the end of the day, my community is a huge source of inspiration and that's the women I want to support at the same time. So
exactly. Yeah. And no competition. Like, I don't even think that's a thing,
Great. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And we could go, maybe we should
go into that.
Like, how much time do we have? But yeah, competition is so relevant. And I was just meeting with somebody that I met at a networking event, which is like a new thing for me. It's like, oh, I said that word without gagging. Look at that.
Nice. So, good job. Good job.
And I was talking to her and she was like, okay, well, like, I'll keep your information and like share that with anybody in the events industry. But like probably not with other photographers, right? And I was like, no. You tell everyone about me, because there's often this misconception, and I'm sure a lot of other photographers subscribe to this, where it's like, if the person providing that service is the same service as you, that like that's a no, right? That's like magnets that can't touch. But for me, it's never existed that way, because there's so much to gain. If I'm already booked for something, I want a list of people who can offer that same service, that I believe in and like trust and love their work. also
Yeah.
sometimes photographers need to hire photographers. Like, you know
Totally.
what I'm saying? And like, I'm sure with
Totally.
you, like, yes, you provide Reiki,
Oh
but
God.
like, you also need other Reiki providers.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Oh, but there's so much. Like I had a lady who found me, I think it was through Google, and she came onto my website and she was like, do your trainings offer continuing education? And I said, no, they don't, but here's a list of people that do, from the organization that we're certified through. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I am not even remotely upset about that. Same thing with, I probably have, I don't know, 4 or 5 girls who have gone to like the highest level you can go and are teaching, and one of them is doing the exact same thing I'm doing in California, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, that's going to hurt your business." All the things. I'm like, I no, it's not. Absolutely no, it's not. Like I do not care, because I trust and know that who is meant for me is going to come to me. Like I know that hands down. And the more that I am comfortable in this role, right, as the teacher, as me, I'm not going to mesh with everybody, and that's totally fine. And I've so had that experience. Like I've had all the ups and downs that you could possibly have, you know? So now I'm like, absolutely not. I know that you, my student, as a person, has so much value. That you're an amazing soul. Go do it. Please, please go do it. Like I do not care. So competition's not a thing for me.
Yeah. Anti that theory.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Well, and it would really be hypocritical of me, right? Because I'm women empowerment and do all these things, but yet don't do what I'm doing.
Don't do exactly what I'm doing.
Right, exactly. Like no.
No.
So dumb.
So silly.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like that's pretty much all the questions I had for you today. I'm like, do you have anything else you want to share? Where can people find you? When is your next retreat? Is it already sold out? Like
my first retreat this year is March 28th to the 31st, I believe it is, down in San Clemente, California. It's not full. I have one person signed up. And then I think I have another one in April. I have one in June that I haven't put up. And then I'm going to do one in Sedona this year. And then honestly, I think that that's about it. But I am going to try to shoot for Mallorca at the end of the year. Yeah. And so like, that'll be my one, like, I know, right? It looks amazing. That'll be like my one big thing. So you can find me, Seed of Life Reiki on Instagram. And then same thing. The website is Seed of Life Reiki. I feel, and then I have my podcast, Seed of Life Reiki podcast, and those have been going amazing. So much great knowledge and wisdom that I want to share with everybody and everybody who I've interviewed. So there's that. I think that's basically it.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today. I love our conversations. You're
Oh my
always
gosh.
so fun to chat with.
I know, I love you too. And we're Scorpio sisters, so that's amazing.
Yes, all the synchronicities.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you found something helpful or insightful to help you with not only your business, but maybe your personal experiences as a human. We love you so much, and we're so happy you're here listening with us. Please like, subscribe, give us a review, do all the things. We appreciate you. Bye.